Hi guys, welcome to Daddy and the Don. Today we're going to be looking at Brentford versus Brighton at the weekend in the English Premier League. So we're going to discuss this with three of our regular Brentford analysts and see what their views are on a number of hot topics. And just before we get started with the debate, could I just remind everyone to please like and subscribe, and if you get a bit of time, please head over to our Instagram page, which is on screen now. So first up, we're going to speak to Doug. So hi Doug, welcome back mate, nice to see you again. So just looking at the weekend just gone, obviously before the international break, you got a credible 1-1 draw with Villa. So just looking at that game, how did you feel that game went? Did you think it was a deserved point? Do you think maybe you got away with it, or do you think you could have perhaps walked away with all three?
Yeah, hi Phil, thanks for having me back on. Talking about Brentford versus Aston Villa, a very good away point. At the end of the day, we would have taken that all day long at the beginning of the match. On reflection on the game, I think we had more possession than them, but obviously that doesn't really mean much. Villa, I think, probably had the better chances, but for two good defensive situations right at the very end, Ollie Watkins could have nicked it. At the moment, I've seen all three Brentford games. I don't think we're quite far in up front. We're doing everything necessary. We're defending well, and I think the midfield are working well. But up front, we just need to create more chances and obviously take them.
So unfortunately, our regular guest couldn't make it today. He had a last-minute cancellation, so we searched high and low for a suitable replacement. Unfortunately, we couldn't find one, so we're stuck with a Don. So thanks for stepping in, Graham. We know you're a bit of a Brentford whiz. Got your family all support them, so you're quite clued up on the Brentford. So thanks for filling in, mate. So looking at your start, 5 points. I think that's a pretty impressive haul for a team that came up in the playoffs, especially. So you must be delighted with the way it's gone so far. Probably couldn't have asked for much better. But I must admit, as a neutral, I didn't think you'd get this many points. And just watching the three games, you could make an argument that you could have won all three of those games. You could have at least had 7 points out of 9. I know you've got 5, but are you pretty much happy with how that's gone? Or do you think you could have perhaps got a couple more points? And just digging a bit deeper, is there a little bit that's worried in the background that maybe it's been too easy so far? You haven't really been tested. I know Arsenal were quite poor, Palace were a bit sort of impotent, and Villa have just gone for a bit of a change around after losing Grealish. So do you think maybe you caught those teams cold? When you do end up playing teams like in red hot form and sort of Champions League teams, do you think Brentford will be ready for that challenge and that obviously disappointment of, say, maybe losing 3 or 4 on the bounce? Do you think they're strong enough and the manager's good enough to get you through those bad patches if and when the storm does come?
Yes, hello Phil. Obviously you've brought on the A team for this game. I'm privileged to be here previewing Brentford. You said I know a lot about Brentford. Well, I know a lot about every team because, I am the Don. But obviously I follow Brentford due to the family, following them, and I like Brentford a lot. But yeah, going on to your questions, obviously it's been a great start. 5 points out of 9 is probably maybe just a bit more than what they would want it. I think 4 points would have been realistic for Brentford, but 5 points is great. They're playing well, they're playing with confidence, and, regardless of how the other teams are playing, they seem like a hard team to beat. Frank's got something installed in their heads to fight for the ball, to fight to the end, and don't be pushovers. And that's all you want from a newly promoted team. The end of the day is that they are going to lose eventually, and they're going to probably lose 3-4 or 5-0 at one point. Every team does. It doesn't matter. There's teams that have been in this league for years that lose high. Teams like Leeds, who are a good team, who have that big beating, and they play the same sort of football as Brentford. So, it's going to happen. You're not going to go and beat them. You're going to lose games you expect to win. It's how it is. Brentford are not in the Championship anymore. That's a good league, but the Premiership is an elite league. They have the quality and the mental strength and the great manager, and they have the attacking quality to respond and come back when they need to. Again, I see Brentford being a team that will be away from safety this year. I think the start has proven that they're good enough for this league, and I expect them to do well and respond to any results that they might lose. That, if they lose 4-5-0 to City, they'll come back the next week and beat someone they expect to beat. They'll be fine.
So now we're going to speak to Laura. Welcome back, Laura. Nice to have you on again. So we're going to speak about your boy, Ivan Toney. I know you're a big fan of his. Didn't take him long to get off the mark, 3 games. Obviously, would that still come as a big relief that he did get off the mark so it didn't become an issue going forwards? And do you think now that he has got that weight off his shoulders, that's just going to kickfire him into getting even more now and heading towards that target of like double figures?
Ivan Toney. I personally think he's an absolute quality player, and it's great to see that he scored against Villa. He's off the mark with his goal scoring now, and it didn't take him long. 3rd game into the season. I have absolute faith he will continue to score. You know, he works his socks off on the pitch, whether he scores or not. You know, he's a massive team player, which you can see on and off the pitch, and his confidence will be up now, and I fully expect him to score against Brighton. Will he get double figures this season? Yeah, I don't see why not. He'll probably target 10 to 15, and I believe he will 100% achieve that.
And we're going to get Doug back on now. So obviously, unbeaten in 3 games. Your next game is at home to Brighton. Obviously, you might look at that to say that that's a weaker team compared to some of the teams you have faced, but then they've started quite well as well, haven't they? So this could be a bit tougher than it looked on paper. So how do you think this game's going to pan out? What's your expectations, and where do you think the key battles will lie in this game?
Looking ahead now to the Brighton game this weekend, obviously they had the first 2 games of the season, they won both of them. And I fully expected them to do better against Everton in their last match. However, it was Everton who came away with quite a comprehensive 2-0 away victory. Brentford versus Brighton, obviously we'll be looking to continue our good start to the season. And I think that is Brighton fixture is probably one of the ones on the fixture list we would have been looking to get maximum points out of anyway, regardless of our situation as it is currently. I think we should be okay. All being well, all the players that are away on international duty and some on like mini break holidays, they'll come back fit and healthy, and we'll play a full strength team, and it'll be the same 11 that started the first 3 games. And I think all in all, it'll be a tight game, but I think we could win.
And just another question for Graham now. Obviously, good start. Looking forwards now. So, I support Palace. We've been in the same situation where we've come up in the playoffs especially. Everyone sort of writes you off a little bit. You sort of fear in the back of your mind, are you going to be good enough? Are you going to get trounced every week? Are you going to be competitive? Obviously, so far, Brentford have managed to do that. So, looking forward, and especially with the model that Brentford use, do you think you'd be happy enough like doing a Palace and just sort of bouncing around the mid-tables, being safe, steady income, slowly growing? Or do you think maybe Brentford are going to look for something a bit bigger and have sort of like a long-term view of trying to get into Europe or win a cup of some sort?
Regarding, long-term objectives, I think every club in the Premier League wants to improve. You don't come to the Premier League to be mid-table. And I know you said that about Palace. Palace don't want to be that. Palace want to continue to progress, but they're realistic with their budget and what they have in front of them. I think they are looking now to improve with the signing of Vieira. I think that's actually, even though people raise their eyebrows, I think the way that they've overhauled the squad sort of proves that Paris goes, all right, well, we're not going to improve with the squad we had. We need to improve now. Brentford will continue to just stay in the league for the first few seasons, but top 10 is definitely an aim, and they will look at Europe in years to come. Obviously, not anytime soon. They're a good side, Brentford. They need to keep their heads on the ground and keep their feet on the ground. But yeah, you said that Palace are a mid-table team. There's nothing wrong with that. Brentford would take that, snatch your hand off if someone said they're going to be 13th and 12th for 10 years. But realistically, they are going to aim for highest positions possible every season. When you saw Arsenal, Brentford, the interview before the game with Thomas Frank, they said, what's your expectation of the season? And he said 2 things: win this game, finish as high as possible. That would be Brentford's motto every year. They just need to stay in the league this year, and they'll go from there, and I think they will.
Just going back to Laura now, so it's a bit of a reunion with one of your former strikers, Neil Malpai, who had a good couple of years at Brentford before moving on to Premier League football, which he deserved. So a little bird tells me you've actually met him as well with your daughter on one of your trips to Brentford. So do you think he's the main threat, or do you think perhaps there's someone else that could trouble you? And what are you expecting from the afternoon, say from Neil?
So Neil Maupay, one of our players that we brought from nowhere and became a high value sale for us. You know, he's a big personality, and again, in my personal opinion, he's an absolute great player, and I like him. I didn't like him to start with when he first signed with us. I thought he was a bit cocky, but he really grew on me, and I absolutely loved watching him play at Griffin Park. You know, he's going to be a threat to us. He's their striker. You know, 20 goals in 2 seasons for a team like Brighton. You know, he's going to be a handful, and he will look to score against us. So I may be the Don's wife, but unlike him, I don't claim to know all about football. So my knowledge isn't anything like his. But another player that I believe could be a threat is Pasuma, if that's how you say it. You know, he's another player to look out for, but the big threat, I believe, is Neil Maupay.
So thanks for all your comments, guys, and thoughts. We're going to go around the room now and get a score prediction. So you'll go one by one in the order you did your preview. And we've got a bit of bonus footage at the end of Laura's one. We've got a special guest coming on to give her score prediction as well.
Yeah, as I already said, I think it will be a tight game against Brighton. They'll be looking to bounce back. We'll be looking to continue a reasonably good start to the season. All being well, I think we could hold out, maybe win 2-1.
Yeah, for the scoreline, listen, it's going to be a hard game regardless. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Brighton, but they're still a decent side. They're going to cause problems. I expect Brentford, though, to come out in front of the home crowd for the first time in a few weeks and put a performance on. I believe this will be 2-0 for Brentford, with Toney and then Bemel scoring. Brentford will win this one, 2-0 against Brighton.
So, Phil, my score prediction for Brentford v Brighton home game, I think 3 points are for the taking, 2-1 to the Super Bees. So, if it's okay with you, I can't be part of a Brentford video without the next generation of us Waller Brentford supporters being part of it. So Ella would like to give you her score prediction too.
Hi Phil, my prediction for the Brentford-Brighton game is Brentford 1 and Brighton 0.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your comments and score predictions. Nice seeing you all again. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching at home. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next edition.